Guys, I don't want people to get the impression that I am like 100% anti Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora too, because like, in all honesty and in all fairness, this is not like the worst rematch that could possibly be made. It's not like the worst fight that could be made. For example, I actually think that this rematch, if it does officially get confirmed and happens, I think like Dereck Chisora would put way more of an effort than the likes of somebody like Lucas Brown. Because when Lucas Brown fought Dillian Whyte, he was a punching bag. He had no head movement, nothing, and he didn't really show effort in that fight. But when it comes to Dereck Chisora does show effort. The reason why I was talking about wanting to see Luis Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte was because it excited me. I was online and I saw that Luis Ortiz and Dillian Whyte were going back and forth while there was negotiations for Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora this December. And then I saw Luis Ortiz call out Dillian Whyte, and then I saw Dillian Whyte call out Luis Ortiz, and then I saw Luis Ortiz accept the challenge of facing Dillian Whyte in the United Kingdom on December 22nd. And that excited me because it was like, oh shit, okay, I would rather see that. I would rather see Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz on December 22nd over Dillian Whyte rematch with Dereck Chisora. And that's really what it was. It excited me. As a boxing fan, I got more excited and I got more hyped up with a matchup between Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz than with a rematch that I already saw with Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora. Alright? That's why I started making these videos saying, listen, make the fight happen. Because then I also saw, of course, many boxing fans, and especially UK boxing fans, because Eddie Hearn has a thing where he says like only UK boxing fans want to see the rematch, but that's not true. It's not true at all, because many UK boxing fans want to see Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz. So I made these videos just letting you guys know how I felt and how most of the boxing fans felt when it comes to Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz or Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora. I was just telling you, they want to see Luis Ortiz. Alright, but again, I'm not like extremely against this fight. It's, Dereck Chisora, I feel also like Dereck Chisora is in a stage in his career where he's above fighting somebody like Dillian Whyte. I mean, excuse me. I feel like Dillian Whyte is in a stage in his career where he's like above fighting somebody like Dereck Chisora. Dereck Chisora is a journeyman. Like, it just doesn't look good when you're facing somebody who has nearly 10 losses in the records. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I understand that he's lost to quality opponents, but at the end of the day, he has 8 losses. Like, that doesn't look good in a fighter when you're fighting. That looks good if you're like a prospect. If you got like 10 fights and you're challenging somebody like a former contender, like say you're a heavyweight with 10 fights, and you're challenging Dereck Chisora, a guy who has 8 professional losses, but he only lost against legit dudes, and then you fight him and you beat him. That looks good for you, because people are going to look at you like, okay, you beat, you're a prospect and you beat Dereck Chisora, who has 8 losses, but he's only lost to legit dudes. It's kind of like when Daniel Dubois fought Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson has 8 or 10 professional losses, just like Dereck Chisora, but Kevin Johnson has only lost to like legit dudes. So when you put a prospect with 8 professional fights like Daniel Dubois in there with someone like Kevin Johnson, a guy who's gone the distance and has lost against legit heavyweights, when you put him there against that guy and he beats that guy, that doesn't look bad for him, because you look at that like, okay, he has 8 losses, Kevin Johnson, but listen, he's only lost to legit dudes, and all these other guys couldn't knock him out, and Daniel Dubois goes the distance with him, so it doesn't look that bad. That's kind of how I look at Dereck Chisora. I think Dereck Chisora should be fighting guys that are like really prospects at this stage in his career. I don't think he's earned it to fight another legit heavyweight. And again, it just doesn't look good for a guy like Dillian Whyte fighting a guy with nearly 10 losses. Because again, if he beats him, it's just going to be like, okay, he was supposed to beat him. No one's going to be picking Dereck Chisora to win. And that's the difference between someone like a fight between Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora and a fight between Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is just way more credible. It's a way more credible victory. And let's be real, like if Dillian Whyte went in there and knocked out Luis Ortiz, let's say he knocked him out faster, quicker than Mr. Deontay Wilder, that's going to be a very credible win for Dillian Whyte, because Luis Ortiz is a relevant heavyweight. He's not a recycled heavyweight. He's not a guy who has 10 losses and we've seen him lose against every legit dude. No, he's a guy who's lost one time, and he was in a very competitive fight. It wasn't like he got blown out of there against Deontay Wilder. He was winning against Deontay Wilder. So his face is fresh in the minds of boxing fans, right? When you think of Dereck Chisora, you think of a guy, oh man, we've seen this guy so many times. Like we know who the hell this guy is, but Luis Ortiz is a lot more fresher in terms of like appearances and just I think in the minds of boxing fans, of heavyweight boxing fans, I think he's a lot more fresher because we haven't seen him so many times, right? We haven't seen him come up short 10 times the way we've seen Dereck Chisora come up short. That's why I just think historically and just like for the boxing fans, it's a way more better fight because we've never seen it. A. B, we know what a good fight makes, good style matchups. Dillian Whyte's style versus Luis Ortiz style is a very excellent fight. It just has the making of an exciting fight. I could just see it. It has the making of somebody getting knocked the fuck out because Luis Ortiz needs you. It's a guy to be standing in front of him so he could catch him with his best shots. And Luis Ortiz doesn't run. And Dillian Whyte needs a guy standing in front of him so he could hurt him and catch him with his right hands that he likes to throw his pot shots. He likes to throw his pot shots. Luis Ortiz doesn't run. He stays right in front of you. So that's a really good matchup right there style-wise. And that's why people get excited more to see Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz because it's a credible win for either of these guys. It's a fight no one ever saw, and it's between two fresher faces. Again, I know Luis Ortiz is not the youngest guy, but he's a fresh face in terms of like appearances, in terms of like the amount of fights that we've seen him in, or high quality fights we've seen him in. But when it comes to Dereck Chisora, he's the guy that we've seen him so many times. At least I've seen him so many times. That it's like, okay, he's just gonna lose again. Like that's the thing with Dereck Chisora. When you look at Luis Ortiz, you don't know if he's gonna lose again. You think to yourself, okay, this guy could be in a competitive fight. This guy could be in a competitive fight with this guy because he has the skill set to do it. But when you see Dereck Chisora, like what you think to yourself is, okay, this guy's just gonna lose again. That's what you think to yourself because you've seen him lose so many times that that's the first thing that pops in your mind. Oh, this guy's just gonna lose again, just like he lost against this guy, just like he lost against this guy. He never is able to win, and I think that's how most boxing fans feel. But again, is it the worst fight if Dillian Whyte rematches Dereck Chisora? No. No, because at least like I said, I think Dereck Chisora at least shows more effort in trying to win a fight than, like, say someone like Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown was out of shape and he looked like he didn't want to be there. You know, he was just like a target, like a piñata. Dillian Whyte and Dereck Chisora don't like each other, right? They dislike each other, and I think that motivates Dereck Chisora. I think when he fights Dillian Whyte, especially when he fought him the first time, I think he didn't like the things Dillian Whyte was saying, because during the lead up of the first fight, Dillian Whyte was, antagonizing Dereck Chisora, saying that he was like a has-been. He was calling him a has-been. He was saying that he was calling Dereck Chisora a donkey. He was saying that Dereck Chisora is a dumb fighter. Dereck Chisora makes dumb business decisions. I remember he was saying that Dereck Chisora was like making dumb business decisions. He was saying that Dereck Chisora fights like a man who has no ambition. He was saying a lot of stuff, and you could tell that Dereck Chisora didn't like the stuff he was saying. So I think that motivated Dereck Chisora to prove to Dillian Whyte that he in fact isn't a shot fighter. He isn't a